Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Full Length Cup Challenge. This evening we're excited to bring you tonight's duels from tonight's iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the top split for the Maconi Fix Series and for Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside me in the booth for tonight is Kirk Mills. Our producer this evening is Marty Sakawa. Tonight, Kirk, it's the battle to try and get into the FLCC 500. A chance for drivers to be able to get themselves in the field. Already, many drivers with their charters have a lock, but each of these races, 8 of the open competitors look to try and solidify their spot in what will be a 45-car field this next week.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be one of the craziest races coming up here in the next few hours because about 16 of the open drivers are going to be making it into this field, and 17 of them will be going home. They have no opportunity to race if they are in the back 8. They have to be in the front 8 drivers in this duel. It's going to be they're going to do everything they can to be able to advance to the Full Length Cup Challenge 500 or the FLCC 500. It's going to be absolutely insane. We have a lot of storylines out of the gate. We got Lucas Hotsma and Christopher Hill. They're already locked in on speed. However, if they do, it doesn't matter where they finish in this duel. But if someone else were to somehow, if they were to drop out of the top 8, then they would make it in. But that top 8 drivers is what we're looking for, and we'll see who will make it in as soon as we get going here.
Let's talk about the racetrack once again tonight here at iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway. Drivers do have a difference compared to last week, though. There was an update, Kirk, to the draft model and the draft package for this week in the preparation for the NASCAR Cup iRacing Series that made the drafting model a little bit more different.
That's absolutely right. Earlier today, I got into the chats to be able to talk with some of the drivers, and one of them brought up the fact that it feels more draggy. So in the event that you're out front and you're trying to race with these guys, if you lose just a little bit of the draft, it's going to absolutely knock you out. You got to be able to stay with the pack, and that's going to be the test for these drivers with these cars being way more draggy. It's going to be hard to stay in the main group, which is how you're going to be able to make it into the FLCC 500.
All 31 drivers expected to race in Duel 1 have made Duel 1. Already locking a front row start. Jonathan Delaney will start on the pole next Saturday. He'll start on the pole here with Lucas Hotsma in second. Then it is Nolan Hodgson along with Derek Heitman in the top 4. Fifth spot goes to John Williams, Patrick Gitter in 6th. Then it is Jeremy Miller along with Chris Davis in the top 8. Matthew Lawn and Dave Hoitsma will round out your top 10 here tonight, Kirk.
Starting in the 11th place spot will be Ryan S. Jones from Australia. On the 12th place starting spot, also from Australia, Andrew Dyson. And starting the 13th spot from Florida is Johan Seminario. Starting in 14th will be Clayton Hoffman from the Mid-South. 15th will be David Mayberry from the West. 16th will be Larry McDonald from Ohio. 17th will be Sean O'Brien from New England. 18th will be Andreas Schneider. And then we got 19th Spence Thompson. And then finally in 20th will be Thomas Kulmacheski from the Atlantic.
21st spot goes the way of Noah Hamilton. Then Stephen Baird will be in 22nd. Robert Miller and Gregory Robinson, the top 24. Tanner Marty starts 25th tonight. William Owens back in 26. Ryan Strunk alongside Jason S. Taylor back in 28th. Then it's Eddie Rose and Tower Hunter. It's Shane Davis who will round out the field starting shotgun for this 31-car grid to see who gets themselves into the FLCC 500. Let's take a look at your race analysis. Brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR. 60 laps your distance like you'll see in real life for this year's running of the Duels. These drivers also have 3 green-white checkered attempts if available. As well, open setups, remember, So expecting these drivers to fly if they have the right setups underneath them. Kirk, just about all set to go racing. Your quick keys here for the duels.
Avoid the big one. Always. When you go to these super speedways, the big one is going to be an absolute fear for all these drivers, and they got to stay in the draft, because if they don't, they will most likely get lapped, and it's hard to come back from that as they roll up.
All set to go. Happy to have you with us for Duel 1 for the full-length Cup Challenge. The green flag is out. We're underway from Daytona.
In the duels last week, we saw the outside line get a huge advantage, but that was in a much smaller field. We'll see if that happens again. Looks like up front we have the 97 who just got pushed to the front. That's Lucas Hotzema. He moves down to the bottom, being pushed by Jonathan Delaney. And on the outside now is Derek Heitman being pushed by the 21 of Patrick Gitter.
An interesting parry, to say the very least, with those two. But Heitman has the run in the Ryko pack machine. The Ryko machine able to get the edge down the back straight away to begin things here. But already these drivers just trying to keep the momentum together. No land rush to the bottom for the 60-lapper. Everyone just trying to get their lanes going that they started in. The first lap goes to the 97. Delaney electing to save fuel in the draft.
We already have a couple cars that have lost the draft. That's Clayton Hoffman's one of them, and also Stephen Bird. They both are off the pace and not in the draft. However, the top 29 are still all within this main pack. And right now, they're all 2 by 2 as they head down the back straightaway, not seeing too much movement. A huge checkup makes it 3 wide in the middle of the pack. I don't know if that AMD car meant to go up there, but he was trying to avoid a wreck, most likely, as they head into 3.
A little bit of a scary spot, to say the least, for some of these drivers already on lap 2. But for the most part, everybody trying to get all solidified and getting themselves calm. Let's go on board from the outside line. This is the 21, Patrick Gitter. Gitter right now trying to get things going up top. The top 3 have actually pulled away by 6 car lengths.
Wow, it's surprising to see that they got away so quickly, but I don't know if that engine is going to be able to hold up for much longer if that 6 car keeps pushing as hard as he has. But they are running the same speed as this pack with Nolan Hodgkin, who actually needs to... he's right now running in 4th on the inside of Patrick Gitter as they head into 3 here, being pushed by John Williams, who is a very fast driver, and he's going to be somebody to reckon with all season.
A lot more people are now making that rush to the bottom. See from Noah Hodgson, a lot of people in the backdrop just trying to get to the yellow line, get to wrap the bottom, keep it simple. You do have to make a pit stop in this race to be able to get to the end. So that is something already drivers are getting themselves situated to make sure you get to where you need to be. A clean finish is what you need to be able to make the race. That wasn't a clean bump on the top. That shuffled things to the back.
Yeah, the outside line has died off quite a bit. Huge checkups all the way back through Kulmacheski here. But the entire outside line is now almost dropped out of existence. They have a handful of guys trying to get to the bottom in this single file train. We got a choo-choo train going. But I don't know if anyone back here understands that they got to be able to have, there's going to be pit stops in this race. I think we're going to have maybe one. We'll see if they're going to need to do it more. But right now it seems like fuel saving is the #1 strategy I'm seeing out of these guys so far.
Yeah, a lot of people trying to play their cards right in this situation, just trying to ride with the track position. Baird and Hoffman have already lost the draft. Ryan Strunk has also lost the draft. They'll need a caution to be able to regroup here, say the very least. But let's take a look from the dash. Delaney, we know, did very well in the clash last week to be able to come away with the win there. Expecting him to be one of the favorites throughout this entire season for the former Cup Series driver.
Certainly. I mean, Delaney, he's one of those guys that is going to be up front every single race, and he's going to be very aggressive to make sure he stays up front. Everybody's got to go into this race with that mindset, knowing that that guy is going to be really hard to pass, and you're going to have to be aggressive around him. Oh, we had somebody drop down and out of the pack. Somebody just left the field there. He's gone. He's not even on the track anymore.
What just
They're
happened?
wrecking on the back. They're wrecking on the bottom of the racetrack as well. Several cars in the apron. That's the 80 car of Larry McDonald sitting in the middle of the grass. I don't believe that brought out the caution. I'm not sure exactly how he got spun out, but it also collected Robert Miller. Both of them collected in this incident.
So no caution, we stay green. So Robert Miller ended up getting together with McDonald off onto the apron. That shot him way back in the field. Let's take a look at the replay here as they left stage left, and this was separate to the car turning hard left.
My goodness, did he just get spun out, or like what happened there? That was interesting to say the least. At that point, we'll have to go back and look at that a little later, but that was most certainly not something you want to see on the back straightaway.
The car that turned left and then disappeared, by the way, was John Williams. He is officially out of the race. Williams has now left the facility. So something obviously happening technical-wise for Williams. Not going to be great for the 05 machine, to be able to say the very least, when it comes to the FLCC 500 and being able to solidify things. He was one of the drivers, though, locked in with the charter. That's the bright side. That also split the pack up.
Well, that also means that he's going to be starting in the back of the pack for the 500. But right now, the leader of that second pack is Tanner Marty. He's being pushed with William Owens in that whole pack there. If you go back and look at the clash, that number 48 of Tyler Hunter led that second pack in one of the races to get back to the front. And it was a phenomenal thing that he was able to lead. So I think that having the talent that they have in that second pack might be able to get them back up to the front to be able to be competitive with these guys, because they know that where they are right now might not be enough to make the field. You got to be in the top 8 open drivers. And the problem is, in this case, we can't really say exactly who's in and who's out until after the race, but I can run through our list of drivers that are currently sitting outside of, they need to finish in the top 8 of the open cars. Starting off with the number 86 of Jeremy Miller. He says that the new car is very dragging. He loves driving the plate races, something he enjoys thoroughly, absolutely. And his goal is to be able to get in the top 8 to make it into the field. At this point, I think he can do it on speed.
Seen him in various leagues over the years. He is someone that can be a contender for race wins throughout this entire campaign as well. One of the drivers with premier backing from the setup side at the very least. So expecting him to at least be a top 10 threat maybe as the season progresses here, if he can get the speed dialed in perfectly. Right now though, this packing, so far 12 cars deep for the time being. Is there a concern if you're in that second pack right now to close things up, or do you just say, we'll get them later on, knowing the speeds are only off by 0.2?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm always the type of person that needs to be in the lead pack. I'm always worried that if we don't go now, we won't have time to fix it later. Fix it now. I'm not a procrastinator. These guys, I think they need to get up there quickly. At least get on the tail pack. Don't make a second line, but at least get back up to the pack. For a second there, that last lap, they ran with enough speed to be able to gain a little bit, but then they just lost it there by switching with that lead pack there. We'll see what they're able to do to get back up there. But another driver, a whole team actually in this heat that I wanted to talk about is BMP, Beast Mode Performance. All 3 of these guys are currently trying to make it into this 500. All 3 of them need to make it. Chris Davis is the older brother of Shane Davis, who is his teammate. Chris believes that he needs to push, go like hell, and have to push his little brother somehow to get into the top 8. As well as Shane, he's more, I guess, selfish in a way. He says every man is for himself. And he also said the reason why he started dead last in this race was because he didn't read the rule about one-lap qualifying. So it's a good reminder to everyone that it's always important to read the rules so that way you don't start last in the duels. But another teammate they have with that particular team in this race is Thomas Kulmacheski. He believes that he just has to try and survive to the end and fight for themselves. He just wants to survive, and that would make him happy, is what he said. But he does say that his luck at the super speedways is not the best. So we'll see how he's able to do in this one.
Yeah, that's going to be something to keep an eye on, is teamwork if it makes the dream work. Team strength in Duel 1 after Duel could be one of the major talking points as this race progresses here tonight. So, the one thing that I'm also finding intriguing is one of the storylines you were talking about with me during the preparation for tonight was Lucas's goal to try and help Dave be able to make the field. That kind of has gone a bit different in practicality so far, with Lucas leading and Dave being in Pack 2.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, at this point, Dave is the third car in line in Pack 2. However, there are some cars that are slow that the Pack 2 is going to be catching. A few cars that lost that lead pack, so they're going to be gaining a few cars. But yeah, in terms of this information, Lucas made the field on speed. He's locked in, so no matter what, he's in. But his main goal is to help his dad get into the FLCC 500, which just says exactly what the sport's about. 9 times out of 10, NASCAR involves family big time. You'll see that everywhere. And in this case, we have several families that are racing in this race. But somehow, I don't know how Lucas is going to be able to do that. But being at the front of the pack, an idea is you control the pace. When you're at the front of the field, you could slow it down. So if he really wants to, he could probably just, check up that lead pack. So that way the second pack can catch back up to him to help his dad.
You have to keep an eye on it absolutely as this race progresses now. Still plenty of laps to go. Already 15 laps in. That's how quickly we've gone so far. That's how things are in Duel number 1. Spence Thompson has lost this pack, by the way, 11 strong at the moment. And that's the tough thing with this package now, is it's not as easy to suck up to the back bumper. It's not as easy to keep the speed up as we touched upon off the top before the starting grid. A lot of people on the checkups are losing speed like you would see more in a fixed setup than you would normally in the open, where you normally can counteract that. But now with the changes to the model, it's more realistic, but it's also more punishing if you aren't consistent on the throttle.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm seeing the second pack die. It's dying. It's falling back. It's not getting enough push. And I don't know if they're going to be able to catch this lead pack if we don't get a caution. I mean, at this point, they're going up the hill there for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why, but I can tell you right now that it's not going to be easy to catch this pack. They have about 5 seconds before the next car, I think. Like, it's a huge gap between 11th and 12th.
Some interesting combination of cars. Interesting wiggles there, too. Some of the Team Conti cars getting a little bit bobbly off the corner. You got to be careful when it comes to this field of the cars, too. Right now, we're taking a look from the 46 to Eddie Rose. Eddie Rose has a lot of sway. This car does not want to stay consistently smooth in the corners.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you got a huge point there. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure exactly how they're going to be able to get back going, but Eddie Rose here, I believe, I'm going to make sure if he's actually one of the open drivers or not here in a moment, but if he is, he's going to have to start pushing like heck, because I don't know if he's currently safe where he is. I know for a fact if you are in the top 8, you're absolutely safe, but the Tier 1 drivers also would be absolutely safe. I got to make sure he's on that list. I'll look that up here in a moment. But one thing I think about is that the car behind him, Noah Hamilton, I mean, at this point, you got to be thinking, how can I get around this guy so I can start pushing this guy's rear bumper?
Can confirm he is one of the open drivers, as you see from the rear end of Noah Hamilton now. So some drivers are still free agents when it comes to team alliances, but will still carry some of the paint schemes from, say, the official action, where they might have setup support from like a Conti or a Team Wilson or Maconi or Ryko. Some of these drivers will have those different backings when it comes to the setup under the hood of the car. And having the right setup absolutely is critical if you want to be able to compete for a championship as the season progresses here during the actual season of itself. At Daytona, it's more of an equalizer, but it's obviously important to make sure you have a car you're consistently comfortable with and don't have it like you're balancing, like you're on a balancing ball steering.
I've never heard of that one before. Balancing ball steering. That's interesting. I'm learning things as we go. One thing I want to say is that I'm surprised because, you know, normally in these races, they do get strung out single file, but not for as long as we've been seeing. I mean, there's got to be some sense of urgency in this backpack. I currently see that they are losing ground to this lead pack quite a bit, and the only people in the top pack here are the top 10.
How about pack two? We just had someone get turned around. Dave Hoytsema has been torn down on the apron. The second pack has now been split apart. The 09 hits the wall. No caution. We stay green.
Oh, golly. Dave Hoytsema. Go. Yellow's out.
There it is.
Yellow's out. Holy cow. Oh, my gosh. He was in the catch fence. Holy cow. Would you look at that?
Eddie Rose rides the fence. How did that happen? That is a new one.
They were going single file. What? We got to look at that replay. How the heck did he get? He's still sitting there in the fence.
Let's take a look. The 09 gets turned around to the head of the field by Eddie Rose. That sparked the chaos in 1 and 2. Dave Hoytsema, nothing he can do.
Yeah, nothing at all. He just got turned here, but he does not keep it off the wall either. Hard left front damage. I think he might be done for the night.
So the pack then imported, and then Eddie Rose a second time, and then
oh my God. Wow, that actually is terrifying. Oh man, I know it's a simulator, but still, that is scary. On board with Dyson now. Here we go. Into one.
You've never seen that before. We've seen people get stuck in the fence, but not ride the safer barrier as Dyson gets spun.
He got stuck up there. He didn't even fall off. He just hung out up there in the fence. That is going to be one of the candidates for Wreck of the Year. We're going to have to put that one on a list because, my goodness, I mean, somebody go check on him. I don't think he's okay. I don't think so. Not after that. Eddie Rose, let's get on board with him.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. This contact here, and then, boom, ramps into the wall.
You know, they have a track on iRacing called Centripetal Circuit. A handful of years ago, there was a way that you could somehow drive on the fence around Centripetal Circuits as they're coming down on the pit lane now for pit stops. Very important that they have a clean pit stop here. We'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, there used to be a glitch where you could drive on the fence, but now it's been patched. But that was very similar to 97 stopped on pit road. What is he doing?
He did not get in his stall. He had to back up to get in his stall, and Lucas Hoytsema is still struggling to be able to pit the car.
What the heck is happening in his... what? I don't know what's going on. Wait, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is a major mistake there. But most of the field took fuel only or took their tires here. This should get people to the end on fuel, by the way, for the duels, so that takes away that green flag pit stop factor.
Yeah, that's gone. I mean, at this point, they should be able to make it. I mean, they're going to have some sort of fuel save, I think. I mean, they can go about, like, what, 36, 40 laps, something like that? I think.
Yeah. At least 40 is what I've heard. I've heard up to 50, some people have been able to say.
Wow. Yeah, they don't need to pit anymore. They're done. Yeah, at this point, just track position. That is the new game changer. Track position. Be in the front. Don't lose the draft. Holy cow. This new system that iRacing implemented on these cars for the draft is making it so difficult to stay in the lead draft. That's amazing.
So again, under caution. Let's take a quick break. Why don't we? We're under caution for the first time tonight. 38 to go at the stripe.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competitive Zone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Maconi Entertainment for more coverage of the FLCC and the duels. Chris Davis is now in the front row. Alongside him for this upcoming restart is Johan Seminario, I should say. So we'll see how the Conti machine fires off for the outside front row. John Williams confirmed he had been having technical issues all throughout today. That's why he disappeared when he did 16 laps ago. Outside of that, a couple drivers did top off to make sure they can get to the end in case there's a GWC as well. Back underway, and good start from the outside. Derek Heitman, a good pusher.
Yes, indeed. He got him all the way up to the front, and that means that up in the lead now, here comes Derek Heitman trying to take it away. And he will. He's got a lot of momentum. He's getting pushed pretty hard by Gregory Robinson. He's sitting there in the 3 car. He has to make the race. So right now, he's probably feeling really dang good. Here he comes down to the bottom for the lead. Oh, man, what a move. He just dumped him.
Gregory Robinson rides the momentum from Jeremy Miller to go to the point. Nicely done from the 3 machine. So Robinson looking to see what he can do now with the clean air. He's one of the open cars. In fact, a lot of the open cars are up towards the front of the moment. Your first 3 in line are all open drivers at the moment. In fact, your top 4.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they know that that pit stop was going to make or break their race. They knew they had to get to the front, and if they got to the back again, they would lose it. And that's why they got out quickly. Maybe they just took fuel only, and maybe had a little less than everybody else. Who knows? But at this point, they had to get up front. That's the only chance they have. And we also got another driver who's trying to make it into the field. We got Tanner Marty and Kulmacheski. Oh, caution's out.
Caution flag is out. It's at the back of the pack. And we're back under yellow. William Owens getting turned around in the 30. Let's take a look at what happened. Our second yellow of Duel 1 already.
Oh, no. It looks like Stephen Bird was involved in that. Ryan Jones, Andrew Dyson. It was a huge checkup that brought out that caution. The inside line had a giant checkup, and I don't think that line was ready for it. And the 30 car tried to get out of line, but then it just collected after that. It was a chain reaction, nobody's fault. It was really just a racing incident. You got to feel bad for the 30 car there. That is William Owens again. He was up front for a little while, but it looks like that he's going to have to go down pit road and see if he can get some of that damage repaired.
Does have some left side damage to the fender. And drivers have to be careful in the instant points here. A couple drivers are starting to build that count here, Kirk. The thing is, there are only 13 incident points you can have before you're disqualified. And some drivers may have picked up a couple 4Xs already from that second group incident for the first caution, and now that one.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And now we only have a limit of 13X. So here today, if they were to get into, they only got really 3 big wrecks that they can handle, 3 big contacts. And then at that point, anything else, you go off track, you hit the wall too much, or you get a bad bump draft, it could take you out of the race. So, I mean, at this point, we have someone coming down pit road right now. It looks like it's being led there by that 71 car of, let's see, Ryan Strung in the 77, excuse me.
He leads this group down pit lane to get some of that damage repaired.
Yeah. A couple drivers also just coming in top off, I think, as well in a couple of circumstances. Robert Miller, remember, got turned around at one point during the caution period. He came on and put on some fresh boots on his car. Matthew Lawn also coming down for service. 26 cars are still in the lead lap. So now it's the matter of seeing what happens for the second half of the race, because it's already pretty clear you can get track position if you play your cards right. Drivers like Tanner Marty are showcasing that from going from the back to front, one of the chartered cars. But it's going to get even more nerve-wracking amongst that top 8 at this point, especially knowing how this field is faring out in terms of some of the battling at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, at this point with this caution coming out, it's going to make these guys have a second to breathe. They realize, okay, we're going to make it. It's fine. We got a halfway through the field before we go back green. But, yeah, you got to give it to BMP Motorsports here, because we got one of them up near the top here. Let's make sure if I got that right. I saw Thomas Kulmacheski up here in the 88 paint scheme nearing the front, I think, wasn't he? Let me make sure I got that right.
Yes, the green and white one.
Yeah, beautiful. Right, it's an homage, I think, over to Dale Jr. back when he ran an 09, 2010 maybe, Amp Energy looking race car. I like that paint scheme. Always been a fan favorite for years.
Does have a good fit and a good design when it comes to that throwback look. But he's one of those dude who's gone up 13 spots. Get here. Let's see if he's able to maintain it up towards the front with how things have fared out. Just about set for the restart, coming up this time by Robinson, Miller, Seminario, and Davis. The top 4, Heitman, Marty, Komacheski, Hamilton, Hodgson, and then O'Brien Jr. scored in top 10 last time by at the stripe. And for those towards the back, eventually you have to start making your strides towards the front, you'd have to think. You don't want to wait too long before you make the move to get back to the front.
That's absolutely right. You want to be able to, like I said earlier, you got to be in the front. You can't be in the back anymore. At this point, with how quickly you could lose the draft, it's just not even worth it. Well, I will go ahead and make this statement out here. We have 2 drivers that are 7 laps down in the back. That's Eddie Rose and Dave Hutzma. Both of them were open drivers, and both of them will not be making the FLCC 500 after this. So, unfortunately, they are out of the running. But it looks like that everybody else, I think, still has a chance, I think. A very small chance for some, but still a chance to be able to make it in. But those 2 are most certainly not going to be in the FLCC 500.
So we are starting to thin things out a little bit with some of the attrition. But still, just over half of Duel 1 to go. And one has been an interesting one so far here tonight. And who stood out the most to you so far? Who's impressed you the most, I should say, Kirk, in this race so far?
Impressed me? I'll be honest, the leader of the race. He started 24th. He's leading this thing. And he got, I think Derek Heitman pushed him up to the, at least he was pushing Derek Heitman, and then dumped Derek Heitman. And then that's what killed the outside line, is they're coming up here to get the green flag for the restart. But that means he's going to do whatever it takes to be able to make it into the big race.
Robinson starting to speed up a little bit for the restart zone. Green flag is out. Back underway. Still about 32 laps to work with here in Duel number 1. As most of the field gets itself sorted out from the start. Looks like everybody just wanting to get to the bottom. At least many of those up top at least so far.
Yeah, only 4 cars are left on the outside near the front, and they're all in a 4-car tandem, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to be able to go against the entirety of the single file at the bottom. However, there is some checkups, almost a spin on the outside. Very, very scary push that was done there on the outside by, it looks like, Thomas. Actually, it may have been Tanner Marty that may have had that push, but man, that was a little sketchy, but they're still up there. They're hanging tough. I mean, they're still in that front area, so don't give up on them just yet as they come to a complete halfway lap.
And Tanner Marty letting the car breathe a little bit more after that initial squabble on the push. and not seeing those triple car tandems like we were seeing last Saturday. I've noticed we aren't seeing that same force where you needed the third car to push to be able to get the second car moving. Not a lot of bumper-to-bumper contact. Oh, Heitman going for a block and nearly getting turned.
Great push there by the 20, the front car there. My gosh, it was amazing that he was able to hang on to it. That's Jeremy Miller now pushing the 76 to the front, Derek Heitman. Big tandem. I mean, this reminds me of like 2011 when you had the two car tandems that were very dominant here at the Speedways.
Halfway through Duel 1, and the Ryko back machine has a lot of power up at the front. The Ryko Select Club car leads with the help of Jeremy Miller from Premier for the time being. I have noticed that Toyota Camry is lightning quick when it leads a pack.
It has been, and it's been running up front. It can work the outside, the inside, but the 24 is in the wall here as they head down into the corner here. They are 3 wide back in the pack. Oh, they're wrecking. Around goes the... let's see, who is that? A lot of cars spinning. That's a 30 car wrecking again. And it's Clayton Hoffman involved in that as well.
Caution flag is out. William Owens taking some more hits. Don't think he added too much more damage to it, but he ends up getting turned around after Hoffman tries to change lanes in the middle of the corner.
Oh, man, you know that's just going to raise his incident points. At this point, he might be just on the cusp of not being disqualified for a 13X. I mean, he's very close.
Tyson having to come down to the Exodus Racing Machine with chassis damage. Here's a look from the 30.
Was not clear. Hoffman was not clear. And then the contact sent some more around. I don't think anyone got disqualified from that, but the 30 car most certainly is going to have a lot of work done on that car. Let's get another angle at it. They are 4 wide for a second. Holy cow, you saw that up there, and then I think that was what caused the stack up, which made the 92 want to go down. But yeah, just it's unfortunate. Was not clear, and it just collected the 30.
That's his second caution in a row involved in, by the way. As this time, yeah, Heitman, or Hoffman should say, trying to come down when the spotter didn't have the clear sign, and that ends up spinning the 30 around, adding more to the damage. Good job by a couple of the cars at the back of the field to lock it on down and avoid contact into it. But now that re-racks and stacks the field, we'll take a chance to take a break. Just past halfway in Duel 1, you're watching the Full-Length Cup Challenge on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Aren't you sick of making double cheeseburgers by now? Lincoln Tech, the end of the dead end.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Maconi Entertainment. More coverage of the FLCC and its duels for the FLCC 500. Justin Prince alongside Kirk Mills, Marty Sakala producing as we get set for the restart. Still lots of laps to go. Just past the halfway point in Duel 1. Attrition starting to build here, Kirk.
Yes, a lot of cars are very close to being taken out of this field due to the cap of the incident points. But at this point, another thing to mention is Tyler Hunter, who started in 30th, is now cracked the top 10, and he is open. He is going to try, I think, everything he can to be able to somehow finish in the top 8 of the open cars.
Well, the tough thing is, many of the drivers who are open cars are right now populating the front of the field here. Of those up in front, 6 of the top 7 are open competitors at the moment. Well, I should say 5 of the top 7. Derek Heitman, one of the chartered cars. Heitman, meanwhile, in control of the field. Green flag is out, backing away, and he powers himself on the bottom in the Fortis Motorsports machine, now working with Miller.
At this point, I think there was a lot of, might be some shenanigans during that caution to try and make sure that people can get down to the bottom as teams and groups and friends, because that 3 car got dropped like a rock. It looks like that he's trying to do some side drafting with the 65. He's not going to be able to get it slowed down enough. He's just losing more and more positions as we go down the back straightaway into turn 3. It's definitely sad to watch.
He did find Tyler Hunter willing to push him, though, at least. That stops the bleeding for the time being. Coming up to 25 laps to go in the first duel. And planning, starting to get a little bit more of the level of urgency, you'd have to think, for some of these drivers.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That outside line, I mean, if you are an open car, 10th place or back, you are getting up to that outside line and you are pushing like hell. That's exactly the right thing to be doing right now. Chris Davis is one of those drivers that needs to do it as well. He's right now running in 9th, but when I talked to him before the race started, he said he wants to go and push like hell, and that's what he's going to go out there and do.
Performance Industries machine pushing a lot on Robinson. You've seen Chris Davis's details once again. But you have to be careful if you push too hard. Like that. Triple car tandem, that made it 3 wide.
Oh, it sure did. They put him right in the middle. The 3 cars in the outside lane, no man's land. He is not going to be happy about that. He goes straight to the back. Somebody who was up front running just fine just a moment ago now gets in all the way to the back, and that's one of the curses here at Daytona. You can go from the front to the back in a snap.
Did help out Hunter, though. Guess who's pushing him? One of the fastest open cars in qualifying, Lucas Hoytsma, who said the fuel man forgot the fuel can during that miscue. He's now pushing good and pushing hard already side by side in the top 5.
Impressive, to say the least. After seeing what happened on pit road, I thought we weren't going to see him anywhere near the top 10, but it looks like that he has recovered well, and he's approaching the top 5, which is a great job pushing that 48. I've noticed that 48 is a great leader of lines in both. Oh, outside! Here comes Derek Heitman to block the outside run, and now the outside line's got a great push. Down to the bottom, here comes the 97. Just like that, Lucas Hoytsma moves up to 2nd.
How about some of that diciness, to say the very least? Heitman does not want to give up the lead. He feels most comfortable up front. Hunter able to jump to 3rd with the help of Nolan Hodgson and Patrick Gitter on the bumper.
Now at this point, we'll see if Nolan's able to recover from last week. If you watch the clash at Daytona, you'll know that in that race, him and Juan Petrovic got in an accident that did not bring out a caution that took him out of the race. I talked with him before this race actually started, and he talked about that moment.
saying that it was very embarrassing for him, and he wanted to learn from it. And so at this point, he's just going to take it as a learning moment. And he is now pushing all the way up to the front, but the 76 is making a huge block on him as they head through the tri-oval to finish up lap 21 to go at this point.
Lap 40 now underway. Heitman's doing a great job with all these decisions to be able to make moves, to block. He's doing it not too late, not too early. He's given himself a lot of chances to be able to control the pack and be the Pied Piper.
He's doing a great job. I mean, he's reminded me quite a bit of, like, you know, like in the beginning of the race, how like Hamlin would be able to lead a line. And like they are able to bounce between lines and do great blocks. And this is not like the blocks that we'd see out of like Joey Logano or somebody like that. But I will tell you this, it is absolutely phenomenal to see that he's able to stay up front, considering we have a whole entire different top 5 than we had about 10 laps ago. Completely different.
2/3 complete. And look who's moving to the front. Larry McDonald, who had to come to a full stop during one of the cautions a while ago, is working with Spence Thompson to go to the front.
It's go time. 20 laps to go. It's what you got to do. Outside, here comes Delaney trying to make a move to the outside. They are 3 wide in that pack, and Delaney there is being pushed on the outside, it looks like, by, I think it's Robert Miller. Yeah, Robert Miller's pushing him. But now Thompson gets in front, and that outside line is now just a single file line once again.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work with them spreading apart middle at the top, just about like the way they were. But now, everyone's taking the opportunity to ride the momentum train. Jeremy Miller now leads that outside. And that's going to be the tough thing. Eventually, people aren't going to be so willing and giving on some of these moves.
Absolutely. They're not going to be willing to give up much of anything at this point. Miller here, he's going to have to do everything he can to be able to get up front. He's trying to make this field. And he's getting pushed by somebody who I would love to have on my rear. Oh, maybe not. They just saved that race car. Holy cow. Hotsma almost turned him. Wow, what a save as they go through the tri-oval here with 18 to go.
This is why they normally say don't push in the corners. Jeremy Miller, for obvious reasons, saying I'm going to the bottom after that. That's also caused a few more people to scatter to the top. Miller has done so. Delaney drives on by as that's opened up a small gap in the bottom line up front.
Yep, at this point we got 4 cars who have driven away from the pack, but not for long. Here comes Miller. He's got to run. Will he make a move out to the outside? Nope, he's going to stay right in line with him. But at this point, one thing I want to mention is I'm very happy to see that O'Brien's up here running in the top 5. I mean, last race, whenever he raced in the Clash, he had an incident to where he was in the back most of the day, but he came back, and guess what? He is doing quite well running top 5 in the Duels. So he should be feeling pretty happy about that, as we almost have a wreck in the back there with Lucas Hotsma and Larry McDonald almost wrecked each other as they went into one.
That outside's completely blown apart, by the way. That outside line's lost all the steam it was working with, all the momentum. The couple drivers are trying to move forward still. That Altus machine of Miller. Sponsors up now. You see Chris Davis now working with Marty, and guess who's able to hook up here? Shane Davis is also in this line.
Oh, they almost just wrecked again. Yeah, the pushes on the outside line are very difficult to keep going and to actually gain speed, but we're going to be seeing an outside line developing, I think, within the next lap or two. But we have a car already making up ground. Again, Robert Miller being pushed by Clayton Hoffman. That's a good pushing tandem right there, but they're pushing in the corners, which is dangerous.
Yeah, at this point, Hoffman just doesn't care, it seems. He wants to get that momentum going. The Nitro Racing builder shooting hard to the back end of the Altus car. 201 miles an hour down the backstretch.
At this point, they're side by side for about, looks like, 7th place spot back there. But the front 6 cars are all just single file, relaxed. Now 7, now 8. The outside line's really checked up pretty big They have about 6 cars on that outside line, and they got to get pushing very quickly. We'll see if Hoffman's able to do anything about it to get the line up there. Tanner Marney's in line with them. There's also Chris Davis. A lot of cars that are just trying to get up to the front, and it's really hard to do with this drafting model.
Yeah. Now they're triple car tandeming. Now starting to see them come into play. They just went even faster. All the way up into the top 10.
Yeah, the bottom line just had a giant checkup. That made that little gain happen. I think now we got the 60 car pulling up. Now I think that outside line looks attractive. If Jason Taylor moves up there, remember, he almost won the Clash earlier this week. He got dumped by Delaney at the last second and got sent to the back. But, I mean, at this point, he is back up front. And now Delaney, he might be pushing him here in just a second. We got O'Brien, Sean O'Brien. I don't know if he'll pull up or not, but that 60's got momentum.
Yeah, it's good speed being built up by Jason S. Taylor right now. Taylor was seen do very well in the Clash last time out as well in that 60. He takes the line in the bottom instead. Coming to 13 laps to go.
Ooh, we're coming down to the nitty-gritty. This is the part where guys are going to start getting desperate. I will tell you right now, there is about a pack of maybe, 6 cars that are behind this that have some sort of damage, so I don't see them being a huge threat to come back from this. They have lost the draft at this point. But the outside line with the 92 and the 10 are getting huge pushes to get up to the front, and I think they're going to do a great job. Nolan Hodgkin, though, here sitting in second, is just riding with Gitter and Heitman. O'Brien, they probably feel very happy about where they are, and they do not want to come off that bottom at all unless that high line somehow gets a huge run.
And you drivers definitely going to be happy in amongst the open field, like Jeremy Miller with the position. You have to say it's just going to be, can they maintain those good spots here with 12 laps to go? Here comes Gitter. Here he goes.
Yeah. Here we go to the top. Let's see if he's able to move it. Miller's pushing Gitter. I think that's kind of funny. But up goes, of course, the blocking that we've had all day. Heitman, huge block up to the top. He's going to take that momentum away from the top line. And I think he might be diving right back down in front of Hodgkin. We'll see if he's able to do it or not. But no, the outside's got a little bit more momentum. I think he'll stay up there until he can't. But Gitter is going to try and get clear here. If he can get down, that's probably going to be the best bet for him.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, hooks up with his teammate. His in-series teammate, should say. And now, this is going to make it hard to pass them with them working as a collective unit again. Coming to 10 laps to go this time by.
Down the back straightaway. I'm not seeing too many people trying to third line at all. I don't even think that will exist in this race. Not at all. Maybe not even in the second duel. But we saw it a little bit during the Clash. Not seeing it very much here. I mean, the high line is always a fun option if you get a giant run and don't want to check up for the outside line. But at this point, we'll see if the outside's able to even keep up with the bottom, because right now it only has small spurts throughout this race where they even came close to beating the bottom. So, I mean, I would be looking at Gitter and Heitman this entire time, the teammates here. And those guys are going to do everything it takes to be leading this pack so they can control the race. They can control which line will go fast and which ones won't.
It's pretty clear that those two leading the bottom of the racetrack, making it extremely difficult for the top to maintain momentum with how consistent they've been able to carry about 200 miles an hour down the straightaways here. Miller still attempting stuff though. And a couple of the open cars are still trying to work in that line. Chris Davis needs ground made up. Shane Davis needs ground made up. They are starting to drop cars from the pack. There's still 17 cars in the main pack.
And only 16 total from both races combined will be making it into the race out of the open cars, but 8
open cars will be making it here today. And I mean, it's going to be really hard, but we had O'Brien just move up to the top, and so does Gitter and Heitman. They move up, and here comes to the bottom O'Brien trying to make a run on the bottom, but to the third line, here comes the Miller to the outside. That's Robert Miller, 3 wide. Here's the 3 wide I was missing, but I don't know if it's going to work too well for the 92 and for Miller. They're going to need to push hard, and now to the outside. They're 3 wide for about 4 lanes as they head to the stripe with 8 laps to go here at Daytona.
All sprawled apart on the racetrack. Top 2 now pulled away a little bit at the bottom of the track as it's still 3 wide for about 7th or 8th spot. Miller trying to wrap the top with Hoffman. They've also picked up Delaney. Now there's some contact just up the road. Sean O'Brien Jr. has ditched for the race lead. He wants the point with Jason S. Taylor. They aren't together though. Here comes Miller. He gets blocked.
Put him up. Oh, he put him in the wall right there. He put him in the wall. That is not the nicest of ways to do that. That killed the Wall's momentum, the third lane that came in out of nowhere. A lot of great pushes. Delaney was the caboose of that outside line, giving a great shove. But at this point, we got 7 to go. The top 3 now have pulled away a little bit with that third car having a bit of a gap to the leaders, Hodgson and Heitman. Top 2 here pushing away. And sitting there in that third place spot, if you look at him, that's Jeremy Miller you're riding on board with right now. He's being pushed by Gitter. I think they're going to be having a big old run here coming into 3. Will he make a move to try and pass? Not this time.
Likes to stay in line. He's happy where he is for the track position. Top running open car at the moment. Coming to 6 laps to go. As everybody regroups the runs, the only one willing to go up top that time was Lucas Hoytsma. Liberty McDonald with him for the time being. Still 6 laps to work with. This is the calm before the storm, if you put it.
Well, what do you mean calm? We just had this crazy 3 wide racing that just happened that shook up the field a little bit. They're recovering from that right now, and it's a little calm now. But the moment that outside line gets back organized, which it looks like it's happening right now as we speak, it is going to be crazy. Tanner Marty just tried to go up in front. He knew he didn't have enough time, so he stayed on the bottom. But now the outside line is gaining momentum. That is Lucas Hoytsma being pushed by Larry McDonald on the outside. They're going to do everything they can to try and get up to the front. They only have 5 laps to go.
5 laps to go in Duel 1. About an hour's worth of racing so far here tonight, coming to a close for the first grouping of cars to see who locks their way into the 45-car grid next Saturday night. Right now, that outside just cannot get anything together.
Not at all. There's somebody who even tried to peek to make a third line there. I think that was Miller. But now they're all in the single file. I mean, if you are in the back, do something. Yeah, your crew chief's got to be yelling in your ear. Make some friends, crew chief up there, the spotter, talk to somebody around you, because you're going to need some friends to be able to get up to the front if you want to be able to start in the front for the FLCC 500 or even make the dang race. It's going to be a tight competitive race, and we won't be able to know exactly who we're looking for as the 8th open car to make it in, but we're going to find out here in just 4 short laps.
Right now, if things hold the way they are, some of the drivers that would get in would be drivers like Miller, like Chris Davis, like Tyler Hunter, that needed good finishes. Now, we'll see if they're able to maintain that. Lucas Hoytsma, remember, already locked in on speed, still leading that top of the racetrack. Coming to 3 laps to go. Nobody, except for the 97 and the 80 up top. Now Delaney is now trying to make some moves up top himself. Jason S. Taylor is thinking about it.
Heading down into turn number 1, we are at 3 to go. I mean, I think that if you are in the top 8, you're content. You're not going to make any moves, which is going to make this outside line development really hard. A lot of people aren't going to be interested in making any moves because right now they have a great FLCC starting position, but obviously these guys are race car drivers. All they want to do is they want to win. That's it. Everybody likes winning these things. So the thing is that outside line actually just now got a couple helpers in the 60 in O'Brien, but they just pulled right back down immediately after going to the top as we're coming down the front stretch now to get 2 laps to go. Single file all the way through Chugga Chugga Choo Choo.
Somebody's going to have to go. It looks like you see someone poking out there. That's Sean O'Brien. As Jason Taylor on the bumper. Does anyone else join them, or does everyone just maintain the bottom of the racetrack? Lap and a half to go.
Oh, they're side drafting pretty hard. They're banging on the doors as they head down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. 2 cars on the outside. They lost momentum. They are dropping like a rock. Tanner Marty still holds onto that bottom lane there. He's going to have a large gap. He's going to have a chance to get a big run on this last lap as we come down to get the white flag. 1 lap to go here in the FLCC Duel number 1, brought to you by Maconi Entertainment.
Who's going to be able to come away with a win? Who punches their tickets into the main event? They have lap traffic ahead and Ryan Strunk that's going to factor things. Does the 77 peel below the apron? No move yet from the 77. He's going to have to move. He's not going to move. He's going to stay on the bottom. Does anyone take the move to try and take the win? No. Heitman still maintains the bottom. 1 more set of corners. Hudson trying to build up a run. Now Miller and Gitter trying to move. Heitman trying to block the lanes. Heitman tries to block. Miller squeezes. It's going to be Miller.
Oh, they're wrecking in the dry oval, but 3 wide at the line. That's Heitman, Miller, and Gitter all at the front, separated by 3/100ths of a second. What a finish. Congratulations to Miller. My goodness, Jeremy Miller won this race by 7/1000ths of a second. He barely won this race. That was amazing.
One of the open cars, Jeremy Miller, able to jump up to the top, squeeze right in between the wall and Derek Heitman, and carry the momentum to rip it away on the last lap. How about that run in the final corner, in the final straightaway?
Oh, man, he says he loves plate racing. I've talked to him before the race. Look at this. He's 3 wide to the line, and just by a hair, he's able to win the race from the top line that didn't exist all race. Holy cow. And then in the back, you can see wrecking with O'Brien in the 92 of Clayton Hoffman. But still, at the end of the day, what a move. Let's watch on board. Here he goes to the outside of Hodgkin. He's got a run. He keeps going up. He's almost in the wall. He squeezes it, and he takes the win. What a finish. I can't wait to talk to him.
What a finish and what a squeeze in the very end of this one. How about that for duel number 1? Jeremy Miller, 7/1000ths of a second. Once again, the difference. Take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll look at the results of Duel 1 and talk with some of the drivers if we can. You're watching the duels here from Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the Full-Length Cup Challenge. A wild finish. 3 wide at the stripe. Jeremy Miller comes away to take the race win. One of the open cars does so. How about that move on the final straightaway? That was the only time he led all race. Derek Heitman dominated much of the race, led 30 laps, ends up finishing second instead. Patrick Gitter rounds up the top 3. Then Chris Davis, one of the open cars, able to punch his ticket in. Noah Hodgson in the top 5, Delaney, Marty, then it's Hoffman, O'Brien, and then Lucas Hoitzema still gets the top 10.
11th is Johan Seminario, with Tyler Hunter finishing in 12th. 13th, Robert Miller. 14th is Larry McDonald, followed by Shane P. Davis in 15th. Thomas Kulmacheski finishes 16th. Gregory Robinson and Noah Hamilton 17th and 18th, respectively.
19th spot going away is Spence Thompson. Then Matthew Lawn will be in 20th position. William Owens, Stephen Bird, and then you have David Mayberry in 23rd. Ryan S. Jones finished all the way back in 24th. Jason S. Taylor towards the back of the grouping as well, ends up finishing a lap down in 25th position on the official scoring. That's because of the last lap he got turned around. Ryan Strunk finishes 26th. Andreas Snyder 27th. Andrew Dyson 28th. Your DNFs, including Dyson, also include David Hoytsema, and then Eddie Rose and John Williams on the DNF list. That's a look top to bottom at your running order here tonight for duel number 1. Going to have to see how all the open cars get sorted here, Kirk, but what a finish.
Absolutely phenomenal race. I mean, at this point, we're still waiting on the open cars to be able to be at least listed, or we'll figure out who those cars are, and we'll announce them to you as soon as we have them. But at this point, what a move. I mean, when I talked to him before the race, he said his goal was to finish in the top 8. That's all he wanted to do. And he was hoping, because he's the 3rd fastest car on qualifying, he was just hoping the top 2 guys make it so that way he could lock in on speed. That was his exact quotes to me from Premier Racing. It was amazing to see him make that move at the last second. All day, he was able, the 76 of Heitman was able to block all over this racetrack, but when it really mattered on the last lap through the tri-oval, he didn't block hard enough, which I gotta give him respect, because he could have just walled him. But instead, he gave him a chance, and that is how a great finish is created. And that's sportsmanship. You got to give the entire top 3 a lot of props, because it takes a lot of sportsmanship to not want to wall somebody to the line, which you can, and they have done in years prior. But look at that distance, man. Holy cow, that's at least maybe a foot. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a close finish. How about that? To be able to squeeze in. He actually picked up some wall marks, Miller did, I believe, on the front end. That's how close he got to the safer barrier, and that's how close he got to basically having a collision there. Avoided Heitman, though, and drove around him just at the right moment to get the edge in this race. What a finish.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's see if we can't grab somebody and bring him in here. Let's see if I could find him. He was in here earlier. Do we want to go with the winner first? Jeremy Miller?
I believe we're still waiting on him, but I know 2 drivers are going to be already standing on by that are in the midst of some team discussions here. We have Derek Heim and Patrick Gitter that are still in the midst of a team debrief. We'll see if we can get a word with them in the next moment or so as well. So, what a night, to say the very least. I will say, while we get things gathered up here for these drivers to have a wild finish, a wild run, how does this set the tone for Duel 2, you think?
I mean, you learned a lot, because if we went back and watched the clash, they were able to stay together as a pack a lot better than they are now. They realized that track position is king. You want to be in the front. It doesn't matter how you get there. You just got to get there, whether that's from pit strategy or not. But you also have learned that a few drivers got disqualified there at the end because they hit the incident limit. So at that point, you got to learn, save your incidents, stay a little safe, but you still got to be aggressive enough to stay in that lead pack, which is extremely hard to teeter-totter. But at this point, very surprising to see it was done, and great racing all around. It seemed like a lot of small incidents here and there that were racing related, but there are a few incidents I'm sure they'll go back and look at to see what may have caused it. But overall, a beautiful first duel, and I think all those in the second duel learned quite a bit for their own race here in just a handful of moments.
Okay, so we're going to take a step aside. Then we'll see if we can get word with a couple of the drivers from Duel 1. We'll take a quick step aside. We come back. We'll discuss things before the start of Duel 2. We are 10 minutes away from the start of Duel number 2.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Aren't you sick of making double cheeseburgers by now? Lincoln Tech, the end of the dead end.
I highly recommend it. You won't find anybody as good as Jam Printing.
Jam is a friendly and professional company that just doesn't do print to make sure that you grow and your business grows to the next level.
They are a very community-focused organization. They donate to every event in the area.
Every time I hand out one of Jam's printed materials, I get a ton of compliments, and that's the power of Jam Printing.
One thing with Jam is it is a veteran-owned company, and that really resonates with me.
Jam Printing is like no other. Their dedication to customer service is amazing.
If you're looking to amp up your marketing, Jam Printing and Promotions is the place to go.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to Maconi Entertainment for more coverage of the Full Length Cup Challenge. The duels continuing on, less than 5 minutes out from our next race. We do have our top 3 standing by from duel number 1. Let's bring in the first driver in our order. Jeremy Miller getting the edge by 7/1,000 of a second. Jeremy, how about that? In one of the open cars, you get the edge on the last lap to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really fun race. Just being an open car, I couldn't really afford to be too aggressive too early, and I felt like a lot of the guys got really crazy with 10 to go, and I was just kind of patient and stayed in line, and they all messed each other up, which got me to P3, and I had Getter behind me, who was working really good with me tonight, and just sat there until the end and made a good move coming to the line.
Overall, how does this help with the expectations for next week, knowing you've got a fast car that ran up towards the front much of the way, but also you have that experience in the super speedways?
Yeah, I mean, expectations are always pretty high for myself. I play tracks, put a lot of pressure on myself to perform here. I just love doing the style of racing, and next Saturday I'll actually have some teammates with me in the race. Won't be a lone wolf out there, so hopefully we'll be able to put on an even stronger performance.
Once you get to watching to see what happens at Duel 2, thanks for the time, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you, Justin.
Jeremy Miller coming away with the win in Duel 1. Second spot went the way of Derek Heitman. He is with Kirk.
Hi, Derek. Man, I got to tell you, you lost it by 7 1/1000ths of a second. You blocked great all day, but that last corner, tell me what was going through your mind?
Oh, I was just watching my mirror. I knew the run was going to be coming eventually. I just needed to go up a little bit higher to block it, and I missed it a little bit. I wanted to kind of leave a spot to where it was going to force him right up against the wall, and that's what I did, and he made it work. I just didn't want to allow a turn down or another car to be able to get underneath me, so it is what it is. We'll take a P2 today.
Absolutely, and you did a great job all race of being able to control the draft, and you got yourself a great starting spot for the FLCC 500. Do you have any plans to be able to try and what's your plans to be able to improve next week whenever we actually have the FLCC 500?
Not be afraid to make that block a little higher, I guess. You know, I mean, I really don't know what I could have done different. I mean, I could have went higher. I could have forced Jeremy in the wall. I could have wrecked us all. It's so tough to be the leader coming to the checkered flag. So, like I said, coming away with the P2 and my teammate Pat P3, we'll take those all day for the team.
Absolutely, and I got to tell you, all three of you, great job being very sportsmanlike as you guys came to the line, and thank you so much for coming and talking with us today. We'll see you next week at the FLCC 500. Best of luck to you and your team.
Yeah, gentlemen, thanks for having me.
That's Derek Heitman coming away second spot. Patrick Gitter, his teammate in this series, went to third in the very end. Patrick, what was the team strategy like, knowing Derek was likely to be the Pied Piper, but you were also amongst those trying to work towards the front in your 21 car?
Yeah, when we were coming to about, 3-4 to go, we were grouped up pretty well. We were just trying to take advantage of the position, watch the runs, see if we saw anything coming. Once we got to about 2 to go, it was really seemed like us in the top 5 on the bottom there were working pretty well together, but at the same time there weren't any big runs. I could see everybody was pretty locked up on each other's bumpers, so that's what you kind of saw there coming to the finish. Out of 3 and 4, we were all locked up pretty well together, and there wasn't a huge run that we had off exit. I saw Chris Davis go high, went high with him. I knew I wasn't going to be able to help Derek on the bottom if I stayed where I was, so really it was just go high, maybe I can get enough of a run to try to help him at the end, and in the end I just couldn't quite get there, and I wasn't sure if Jeremy and Derek were going to get hooked together or what here, so at the end.
Real quickly, how are you going to try and help your teammate Matt DiCiani on the box here as they're just about to get to the grid?
Yeah, it's just going to be watching the runs, trying to figure out who's got good cars, who can push, and who looks stable up front.
Take it on 2 at a time, Patrick.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Patrick Gitter, top 3. Let's take a look at your grid for Duel number 2. On point, as you'll see, leading things off tonight, it'll be Adam Benefiel. Then it's Rob Hutchinson in second spot. Christopher Hill rounds out the top 3 entering this field with Alex Murray in 4th. Dustin Hall starts 5th with DiCiani in the 6th position. Brandon Hastings starts in 7th in the Bamboo Lab machine. Bobby Anderson will bring the Texas Terry 5 from 8th. Then it's Billy Brickley in 9th. Victor Flanger in the 10th position.
Starting in 11th will be Stephen Williams from Australia, with Carl Dotson to his outside starting in the 12th place spot. 13th will be Jeremy Clapper-Newell from Canada. And then starting in 14th will be Devin Medeiros from Carolina. Good to have him in the field. 15th will be Evan Mesnard. 16th, Cameron Thompson. 17th, Charles Eaton. 18th, Alex Princeton. 19th, Kevin Zosiak. And then 20th, Daniel Best.
21st spot goes the way of Hunter Trudeau. Then it's Neil Pearson in 22nd. Daniel Woolman will start in 23rd. Then it's Juan Petrovic in 24th. Jordan Person and Greg Newsom alongside each other, 25th and 26th, with Michael Reeves and Paul Hill towards the back. Rounding out the field, Ed Ryan and Cameron Stone is your last starter in this grouping. One driver did not make the field in time for the grid procedure, but here's your race analysis brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop. Once again, to reset, 60 laps, expecting it to be a one-stopper on fuel, open iRacing setups to be able to power these engines here tonight. Real quickly, your keys to Duel number 2, knowing we've seen it be pretty wild in Duel 1, and now we look to see who tries to get themselves in the field in Duel 2.
Well, now that we have this new drafting model, I don't think the big one's going to be too big of an issue because it didn't really happen in the first heat. But this time, I think the number one thing they're going to want to try and do is stay in the lead draft. If you lose the lead draft, that almost eliminates your entire chance to be able to make it on to the next round. So at this point, staying in the lead draft, that is going to be their top priority, and also doing a great job of leading the lines. You got to be able to do great blocking to be able to stay in the front. That's exactly what we saw last race, and that's exactly what someone in this race needs to take on, and take on quickly.
Mathematically, the first two current locks on queue time, with Miller and Hoytsma racing the way in. Per projections from Race Control are Hill and Hastings. Keep an eye on them for this field. The green flag is out. Duel number 2 is underway, and the field starts off strong.
Even as they head down into turn number 1, outside's getting a little bit of a good momentum push. Bottom's losing a little bit, maybe about like a quarter car length a second here. But they're going to be coming back in the corner. Here he comes, trying to avoid the side draft. Hutchinson leading the outside line. That's Ralph Hutchinson. With right behind him is Adam Benefeld to the bottom. These two guys, I mean, these two guys are fast. That's exactly why they're starting in the front. They have the fast qualifying times. And we're going to see them up front most of the night, I believe. But the 7 car is actually giving a heck of a push. And that is Alex Murray on the outside, trying to keep the outside line relevant as they head into turn number 4 and out onto the front stretch.
First lap being led this time by the Conti car, Adam Benefiel. He right now trying to work with Hutchinson, who leads the RH Motorsports machine. Back up to the point, though. Interesting enough, Carl Dotson did not make the starting grid. He has already lost the draft in the 9 car. So he'll hope for a caution early on. It's worth noting the Emerald Coast Coins machine. Taking a look on board from the back bumper, Alex Murray moves to the bottom. The builder of the car that just won Duel 1.
Alex Murray, new leader, as he was pushing the 8 to the front, but then he just went straight to the bottom, and he took over the bottom line himself. So Benefel now no longer leads that bottom. And the new outside line pusher, it is Matt DeConi. He is now running that outside line just fine. He's going to try and push Hutchinson back up to the front, but he's losing ground. I don't see as big as a push as we saw earlier. Now that they got that 3-car tandem there on the bottom, it looks like that's not going to be too much of a factor. But if we look at the entire field, everybody is single file with the exception of those 4 cars. Ralph A. Hutchinson, Matt DeConi, Bobby Anderson, the league's owner, and then finally Victor Pfluger. All 4 of those guys are the only ones that are running the top right now, and they're still sticking up near the front. But how long will that last? Only time will tell.
It's going to be interesting as this race develops, how things play out. Most of the field electing to stay to the bottom of the racetrack, similar to what we've seen early on in Duel 1, except for these 4 up top. And that's the tough thing. The more these drivers trying to use this top line, the more things can see, well, moves like that, where eventually drivers are just going to say, I've got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, he just got pulled right in front of Stephen Williams to the point where he almost went down below the double yellow to avoid turning him. But Hutchinson found a hole and he got in it as quickly as he could. That outside line now being led by DeConi and being pushed by Bobby Anderson. I think Bobby wants this to be a little more entertaining. He's trying to make it so. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if anyone on the outside line can make any ground, considering the back of the pack is going to be experiencing quite a bit of checkup. I've noticed that when they get single file like that, we have exactly what just happened back here in the back, where Hunter Truell just got a huge checkup to the point where he had to get out of line. And that also just happened to Cameron Stone. He just got got pushed out of line, and he's going to try and pull back in front of Petrovic, but I don't think it's going to work. Huge run for Paul Hill at the back of the field, but they're going to have a lot of checkups here. They got to remember to stay with the pack because it looks like there's a chance they might lose it. There's a lot of cars that are starting to spread out, and if they're too wide, they will lose the draft. They got to get back up there, get single file, get organized, catch back up before they lose the draft.
They have lost Michael Reeves, by the way, one of the open cars. As you were discussing things, he's already gone adrift by more than 2 seconds. Some of the others are already falling adrift, like Princeton, like Daniel Best, and more that are towards the back of this pack. You see how that gap's really starting to come in. And part of that, too, is this is going to be part drafting model. This is going to be part... This is why it's important to have a good car and a good setup for a track like this. Even though Daytona's an equalizer, if you don't have the most powerful setup, you can lose the draft easily.
Absolutely. Yeah, the thing is that they didn't have much time at all to build this setup. They released this update just a handful of days ago. So they only had a little bit of time to get it done. Sure, maybe an old setup with a few adjustments might still cut it. But, I mean, for those new drivers, maybe a setup change that might have affected their car. It may have caused some issues. Right now, we're sitting on board there. Let me see who that is. I think that is Kevin Zosiak. Doing a great job here on the outside line, staying with the lead pack, and that's all you really have to do to be able to have a chance at this. Stay up front in the lead pack and don't lift. And if you do, you're going to end up losing the draft, just like half the field already has.
Yeah, 18th on forward is how the main pack is, but we might see that number splinter even more so. Right now, at the moment, things looking calm. That's the key thing. The open cards in this field, remember, are Hill, Hastings, Brickley, Fluker, Clark, Newell, Mesnard, then Thompson, along with Eden, Princeton, Zosiak, Best, Truel, Llewellyn, Petrovic, Newsom, Reeves, and Ryan. All those drivers are fighting in 16 cars in the open slots, top 8 advance, remember. And amongst those cars, a lot of them have already lost touch with the draft and are towards the back of the field at the moment. There's a look at that field spread. They are definitely not working together back here.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, who is working together is that outside line up front. We got Matt DeConnie here getting a great push by Bobby Anderson. Those two were up front, up in the top this whole time, but they have gained back some momentum because a few more cars joined them. Victor Fluger and also Kevin Zosiak with Cameron Thompson. Those guys made it up here to the front. They were pushing, they made it happen, and now here they are. We're trying to battle for the top 10 positions.
Well, for DeCiani, it's Alonso's that essentially are almost forced into this situation. Fortis cars. Still good push for one of the admins in Anderson. Just about went to the outside there. You got to be careful on the pushes. We've seen this a lot in Duel 1. If you get too offset, you can spin the car out easily in front of you.
Absolutely correct. Oh, we actually have a huge checkup in the second pack to the point where one car went down below the yellow. I think it was actually the lead pack, correction.
Yes.
There, that was the green car there of Stephen Williams. He's still hanging with the lead pack, but what I will notice here is that the lead pack is going about 4 miles an hour in the corner faster for a split second there. But now it looks like it's just back and forth. I don't think they're going to be able to gain enough time to catch back up, especially right now. But we got a battle up here for the lead. Here comes Adam Benefield to the outside, being pushed by DeConnie.
That Ford machine all over the back bumper for Benefield. And now Benefield just trying to play the lanes with Murray, still maintaining that bottom of the racetrack. And it's pretty clear a lot of these drivers don't want to give up that front of the field. They don't want to give up the race lead, even with the fuel mileage benefits right now. They want to get a feel for the 500 miles next week to be able to say, can I maintain the lead and maintain lead laps? rather than in some of these cases right now where you see drivers just elect to just save.
A lot of cars, I mean, I'm surprised that they're running at the speed that they are. I mean, at this point, normally when you go to these types of speedway races and you already have, like, you know you're going to have to pit, you'll see a lot of cars decide to start doing some fuel saving strategies. But no, these guys are trying to absolutely outclass the field. The back half of the field is, like, barely visible halfway down the backstretch as they enter 3. But they're just trying to outclass these guys by saying, hey, we're still faster than you guys and we can get away. And then once the green flag pit stops happen, if they don't end up having an accident, then there's no chance. There's nothing they can do. So, with 7 car got on the apron there, got a little sketchy there as they went through the tri-oval, but he saved it. But at this point, these guys, I don't know if they're going to have much for this lead pack without a caution.
Yeah. Still a lot of laps to go. By the way, that outside's still chugging along. And we'll say a lot of work being put in by the admin crew for a series like this. Takes a lot of moving parts. Bryson Hickson-Bob's been up on the spotter stand in race control throughout tonight. Bobby Anderson, he puts in some good work when it comes to this series right now, maintaining things up topside. Anderson's got a decent car. With just 3 cars, he's still maintaining good speed.
He sure is. At this point, Bobby, very surprised to see him where he is, considering the last race that we had. It was unfortunate. He had some contact that sent him out, and he got dropped like a rock and was never able to recover. But this time, he's getting pushed pretty hard by Pfluger. Look at him. He's looking like a windshield wiper going back and forth, trying to push him forward. I mean, I always say you don't want to get near the windshield wipers whenever you're in these cars. It's the cars that can't really, stay straight to the back bumper, but sometimes you got to be able to get air in any way you can. So these cars are kind of difficult to drive to in the draft because the buffering, the car just likes to move around a bit, especially when you're side by side with other cars. So that could explain the side to side movement from Pfluger as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, at least to me, I find it intriguing when some people have the wobbles like that down in the straightaways or to the corner, where it's, again, like driving with a balancing ball with the steering wheel. In some cases, you have people who might death grip the steering wheel to make sure they don't bobble, and then you have some of the others that are more casual with it, even in the pack. What would you say you're on that spectrum of? Are you someone who grips the wheel hard to make sure it never moves like that on the straightaway, or are you more the casual?
That's a great question. I always like to tell people that if you've ever seen the movie Cars, when you're driving tight, those guys are just tense, and then they say the fluffy little cloud or whatever the heck the quote was in the film. They relax, and then they're able to go faster. I have the struggles where I grip the wheels pretty dang hard, and a lot of people do. It's like you don't want to go out of the line. And some people like to do more laxed, but I definitely think that being more on the wheel, a little more aggressive with how you steer makes your line a lot better. And being tense can sometimes help with that. But the moment that you get loose or get a bad push, that would be a terrible thing because you're tense and it takes a second to be able to react versus if you're loose, you have a lot faster reaction time.
Yeah. Right now, Murray staying relaxed right now, keeping some air on the front nose. That's how the runs are going. Just about everybody has now gone to the bottom, maintained the yellow line, running 46 flats at the moment as things turn. Bad news if you're a Kevin Sosiak fan, by the way. He's right now at risk of losing the draft because Anderson, after he got in line, lost a lot of time. They are picking up good speed down the straightaway, but are right now fighting to maintain that lead pack grip.
They're matching speed right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch back up because they're about they're on the cusp of losing it. It looks like that they are just about 8/10 back, so I think they'll still be able to hang on barely, but only just. That second pack is the third pack now exists way back there. They're about 7 seconds back. But the second one here is going to be
reuniting with the front.
Just able to get the good speed down the straightaway to let it rip and stay in the pack. Adam Benefield, lots of experience in the Coke Series as a spotter and crew chief. He's definitely been looking good behind the steering wheel here tonight so far. He's led just about all of them so far tonight.
One thing about Benefield that I gotta say is he's doing a great job of leading this line. It's kind of hard to screw up leading this line. I mean, at this point, just don't go out of the bottom and you'll be fine in most cases, unless of course you see people doing it behind you. But for a little bit here, I think Christopher Hill actually might be bored. Going down the front straightaway, he dived out of line and then dived back in a few times. I think he's just trying to have something to do, because where he is, he's not going to gain anything. He's not going to lose anything. And he's just diving in and out of line. I really honestly think he might be bored at this point, being single file like this.
One of the drivers of the NASCAR Cup iRacing Series this year with Apex Sim Racing, putting some entries in the Coke Series. Big partnership for him to be able to jump up there. Has been one of the drivers trying to work his way to the pro scene for several years. Always been a solid driver, but has come a long way over the past 5 years especially.
Yeah, one of the, I'll be honest with you, I cannot imagine the amount of struggle, the amount of true grit that those guys have. Anybody who makes it to that level, I mean, you have to have so much dedication to the sport, to the sim. You gotta spend hours on here just to be able to gain the talent that you need to be able to compete at a high level. And you also need luck on your side too. I mean, especially here at these super speedways. I always say there's an element of luck to these races. However, it's not everything. And so seeing Christopher Hill where he is, he's run up front most of the races that I've seen him in so far. I don't anticipate this guy, being in the back of the field for any reason other than an accident anytime soon. So, I mean, I think at this point, it's amazing to see how far that people like him have come to be able to make it to the top series and just do this as a casual, fun experience for him. FLCC is a big community of great drivers. Look at him. There he goes. He's going back out to the outside like I was talking about. I think he's just bored. There's no reason to be doing that other than being bored. So I do that myself during practice, but never in a race. Look at this. He's just wiggle-woggling back and forth. And I think he's listening. Maybe he's listening to the broadcast.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what can happen, right? Well,
yeah.
This pack, 15 cars strong, by the way, at the moment, as things maintain themselves for the time being. Eventually, they're going to have to duck down to pit road. We're just about at the green light for gas at the moment.
I mean, these guys should not pit until the very last minute. They are pulling away from these other packs. So it is to their benefit to stay out as long as they possibly can, because they're still pulling the second pack, who is stuck way behind. And I think they're actually being led here by Ed Ryan back there. 10 seconds back, a little over 10 seconds. So at this point, just stay out. Stay out until you need to run out, and then you pit. I mean, I don't anticipate any pit stops happening anytime soon with this front pack. However, if you are that second pack, you can't pit either. If you pit, you're going to lose a lap. I mean, it's not going to be worth it. You got to be able to stay on the racetrack. I don't anticipate them coming down anytime soon.
Still about 20 laps or so until we see that duck down to the pit road. Still seeing that second grouping. Ed Ryan, one of the drivers that needs a caution at this rate. He started the lowest out of the open cars and now leads this pack 11 seconds adrift. Make it 12.
Oh gosh, I mean, this is a polar opposite of what we saw in Duel number 1. Duel number 1, we had a big pack up front and they were racing kind of good. We had outside line changes, but everybody's so content, which is what you expect in the duels. If you go back and look historically at, real life Daytona duels,
You'll find single file racing up until about 3 to go when they start making some crazy moves. You see that a handful of years ago when Joey Logano in the first next-gen car race racked on the back straightaway. That type of thing happens all the time where they end up getting like this because they realize, okay, this is a great starting position. And that's what it's for. It's a qualifying race. They don't want to wreck their car. Even though in this series, this year, they do not have the 8X replacement, I guess. In previous years, they may have had an 8X thing where if you got 8X in the qualifier race, you would essentially have to get a backup car, meaning you got an EOL for the race. So with that in mind, they don't have that problem, so there's no fear of wrecking. So I would anticipate these guys trying to race a little harder, but it seems like nobody wants to step out of line. They're very comfortable with where they are, and well, the only one who's doing it is Hill, and he's just doing it to have a little fun, I think. So it's going to be strategy-based at this point.
Did it again?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. It's like, what are you doing? You going in and out of line? Oh, he's trying to have a little fun. That's it.
It's all about getting to that fuel number at this rate. He's the only
Maybe
black
he's scrubbing
stripe
his tires. Maybe he's just scrubbing his tires. That's probably what it is.
Let's look at the onboard. The small checkups in front. Oh, that time he took a shot to the back bumper.
Big time, yeah. That looked like it hurt. I mean, that was not fun. No. Anytime you get the big pushes like that, we saw it at Bowman Gray whenever we watched the Clash a handful of weeks ago. How just a little contact can really hurt. So, and luckily we're in the sim, so no pain. But if they got a strong wheel, it might, but not necessarily from that type of bump. Oh, we got a little stack up there. They all clumped up together for a second there. I think there are some people in this pack that might be getting a little impatient with where they are. I mean, I don't know if they're playing games or what it is, but looking at it from the front end of Benefil going back, it's just interesting how Benefil, I think, is slowing down slightly to have DeCiani, pardon me, push him to go a little faster so he can save a little gas. I think that's what's happening.
I think so too. And remember, Benefil is burning more fuel by being the lead car in this situation too.
As much fun as it is to lead a race, it also is a pain in the neck whenever you know that you have to, like, you know, save gas because everyone else behind you is doing a better job than you are. No matter what you do, you can't, unless you slow the car down to like 170. Right now they're running 195, which is faster than they run the entire race there in that corner. They were going 195, hitting like 190. They haven't really slowed down that much.
Yeah. Looks like someone else has lost the draft. That's Mesnard that's lost it. He's also changed the gearing to 4th gear, trying to get a higher rev. He just ended up losing the draft. Quite simple. He just fell adrift.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Let me see. Mesnard, right? I don't know exactly what may have caused that. He was, I think he was running just fine, but we won't be able to look at exactly what happened until maybe a little later. But still, definitely not the position you want to be in. That's exactly why being the caboose of one. There goes Hill again, going up and out. Being the caboose of this line is one of the most dangerous positions you could be in, because if they have a big checkup at any point, you might have to hit the brakes to actually slow down enough to where you don't actually hit the car in front of you or swerve out of line and you lose the draft very easily. So right now the car that's in danger of that is this, looks like, let me make sure I got this right. I think it is, oh, he's blinking a little bit. Is it Steven Williams? Yeah, he's blinking. But then again, I believe also he might not be, I think he might be an Australian. I'll double check to make sure, but that could be just one of the connections issues.
Yes, he is one of the Australia-New Zealand region drivers working with Ryan Jones in this series. Oh, okay, coming up to halfway. As Christopher Hill really backed up this time. Does he take it anywhere? He opens the door again. again. He swoops down again. Ramps it down again. Yeah. Just...
I just love what he's doing. I just think it's, I mean, I don't see, I don't understand, myself does not understand what is benefiting him from doing this. Well, what's the benefit? I don't get it, but he's giving us something to talk about, which is nice considering this has been single file all this time, but it's pretty funny to watch. Hey, the guys behind him are starting to do the same thing. Maybe that's how they can make the outside line work. Everybody just start doing, waving lines. Let's try that. That's pretty funny.
I'm surprised Dustin Hall just doesn't say, hey, it's free real estate and takes the spot.
It's hard to get the suck up. He can't suck up to the back bumper enough. He pulls out a line just enough and then pulls right back down before he's able to get any amount of, gain. He's doing it smart. He's not doing it, every time. He's doing it only whenever he knows he can, and he'll get away with it. But I don't know what he's doing. It's just so funny to me. I hope that he ends up in somewhere in the top 3 because I'd love to talk to him to ask him what he was doing. Look at him. He's still doing it.
Yeah, some woo going over the radio that time from Benefiel. I think some of the drivers are just continuing to plot and plan. We're less than 10 laps away from the pit window.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the best thing they could do is to stay out until you run out of gas. Because they are, since the last time I said that, they already gained 5 seconds on that second pack. So that second pack is long gone to the point where I would be feeling pretty down if I was in that second pack. I'd be considering trying and pushing as hard as humanly possible to the car in front of me to see if we can't catch them. That's the reason for the hard push. I'm sure that would be the right thing to do to help the team out. But, I mean, at this point, don't be in that backpack. We're learning definitely for the FLCC 500. This is a wake-up call to everybody. You do not want to be anywhere in the back. You won't be able to catch back up. It just won't be possible.
Yeah, and this doesn't seem like the type of race right now where we might see a caution unless something wild happens towards the end. At least with the way things are going.
You know, I'm going to make a prediction, and I hate doing this. It's just something I like to do. I like making predictions. So I'm going to say right here, right now, that there might be a caution within 10 laps to go. I'm just going to put that out there. Might not happen, might happen. I'm just going to think that that's going to happen. So that's my prediction for the race.
See if the prediction rings true. No swoop up this time as Hall is now trying to push a little bit more on the back end of Hill. Right now, things are looking good if you're a Conti car, by the way, because you have Hastings up there, you have Benefiel, you have Hall. The only driver that is not up there, really, is Cameron Stone, who is still in the second pack right now, but he's already locked in the field. It's a good day if you're a Conti team member.
Absolutely. Those guys, they're feeling pretty good. I mean, they're already pretty much locked into the race. I think most of the Conti guys are already in, but it just seems like that they're content. That's the only word I can describe. They are content with where they are running. They don't want to have that second pack have any chance. So if they go too wide, the second pack might actually catch up, because then the side draft would slow that line down and it wouldn't be perfect. But where it's single file like this, they're content, they're happy. They're like, sure, let's run single file all day. Sounds like a good plan. I'll finish 7th and be happy about it, or whatever it may be. As long as they make it into the top 8. Billy Brickley, by the way, I gotta compliment him. Because the last time that he raced in the Clash, Billy Brickley there in the 44, I complimented his paint scheme. I always thought it was a really cool retro-looking number font. You don't get to see that very much anymore. And God, there goes Hill again. But Brickley here, I think that he is going to have a good season this year, and unexpectedly, because Billy Brickley is a free agent. He is by himself. But he's running up here in this lead pack. Also, I think Pfluger in this lead pack also is a free agent. Mesnard, I don't know if he's in this pack. I think he is. No, he is not. He is out. So, but a few of these guys. Oh, we have something happening. Here comes to the outside. DeCiani, finally. Pit stops. This is it.
Conti cars call. No!
Oh, they're wrecking. Oh, they saved it. Oh, what a save. Stone. The one car. Who was that? That was,
Hall.
Oh, Hall. Oh, golly. I called the wrong name. It's Dustin Hall in the one. But he saved it. Car's still good, it looks like. As they come down, no mistakes, no speeding. All right, that was a mistake.
Yeah, that one from Christopher Hill going to cost him a spot or two. Dustin Hall just about destroyed his teammate in Benefield on that entry. They are absolutely lucky in this pack. Hall wins the race off pit road, and now it's a Conti 1, 2, 3. Billy Brickley round out the top 4 in this group.
Wow. I mean, that was crazy. I hope that we don't have any penalties there for Dustin. That was a little sketchy of an entry. Let's take a look at it. Here's a replay. We don't have it. Okay, well, we'll find it another time, I'm sure. But absolutely terrifying what happened there.
Here comes the next wave. Murray leading this group in this time by DeCiani. While Petrovic just leaving the pit road with Clapper Duo. So several others in the air packs in the midst of their pit cycle as the airs start off. Only a 2-car group for the lead pack. As it looks like DeCiani having a much quicker stop. Murray had to back up hearing.
I mean, at this point, those 2 cars that stayed out, this is going to be a detriment to them. You see, they already got passed. Murray is just getting blown by. They should have pitted with that big pack, but they just didn't get organized in time. But now, take a look up here at the front. We got Beneful, and we also got Brickley. Both drivers are going to get swamped here. Here comes the pack to the outside of them. And we got to look right here as well. Hall and Hastings are going to get caught up as well. They're going to get caught, and they might drop back. But this race went from single file to where now, almost a wreck there with Brickley and Beneful, but they hang on to it. DeCiani now gets a push from Beneful to try and stay in that lead draft.
Yeah, but Zosiak, how about his run now at this point? Getting it interesting. He was amongst those with the best of the fuel window, up to 3rd on the track. Dustin Hall and Brandon Hastings, who had a bubble for more than a couple seconds, have been reeled on in like fishing rods. DeCiani staying to the bottom. Here comes Kevin Zosiak, the ladybug for Lugnut to the point.
Oh, what a run by Zosiak. Up to the front. Oh, will he get cut off? No, he barely hangs on to the lead by Fluger there. Fluger made it look like he was going to dump him there at the last second, but nope. They worked together, and then here we go back to the single file. But the lines have changed up. Let's go through, and we'll see if we can't go through the drivers that are still. We have 5 drivers who are still on the racetrack, I think. Nope, they pitted. Okay, so the front 5 are Kevin Zosiak, Victor Fluger, Dustin Hall, Brandon Hastings, Matt DeCiani, and I think that's the entirety of the top 5 right now. So it has changed quite a bit from what it was running a moment ago.
Good spots for the open cars for Fluger, for Hastings. Oh, what happened there?
The field.
Hill, it's Christopher Hill all over the track. That's going to cost him the draft. Hill with a big bobble after trying to cut in front of Stephen Williams.
Oh, that's it for him. That's unfortunate. I mean, the fun's over. That's all I got to say. Fun's over. That's unfortunate. You know, but this is the second great save by that driver. The last race of the class, he barely saved it as well when he got a bad push from Delaney. But this time, let's see what happened. He was pushing to 13, and it looks like everything's fine so far. Nothing out of the ordinary. And let's see what happens here. He's going down the back. It looks normal. And he tries to make a move down to the bottom. Oh, he was not clear. The only thing I could say is not clear, buddy. Not clear. He pulled right in front of that green car, which most certainly is going to make Stephen Williams not a happy camper. Stephen Williams, of course, he's going to have to, so Christopher Hill's already locked in on speed, so he's not worried about this at all. It's not a problem to him, but for Williams, I think he's in.
He's a charter.
So he's a charter, so they both are in. So it's not going to hurt their feelings too much. But I would keep an eye on that for next week whenever we come back here for the 500. Maybe somebody might not judge it too harshly that time. We'll see.
Oh,
we
hold
had
on.
an accident.
This is
Best?
Daniel Best. What happened here? Let's see what happened. He had been one of the drivers not in the draft and then wrecked. What?
What on earth are you? I mean, you know, he was a free agent. He is not gonna make the race, especially after that damage. I mean, we maybe a screen freeze. I'm just throwing something out there. That was very interesting. As we're coming up on a couple lap traffics here, Petrovic is also a part of that lap traffic.
And it looks like everyone moving up to the top line. Oh, and lap cars are blocking. What are they doing?
Oh, he's trying to make it interesting. It's his only chance he has. Truel. I don't know if he's actually in. I don't think, he's not. He's with True War Motor Club. He needs to stay on the lead lap. He's doing what he can to try and make the FLCC 500. He needs a caution, and he needs it right now.
A bold play, and Soziak says, I'm just going to lap you. So the 71 put a lap down, and now it's going to be a battle for the lucky dog in the midst of this lead pack. The free pass battle is Jeremy Clapper, Newell, and Truel. He gained half a second for now on him.
Well, I mean, he did what he had to do. I mean, he had to get in front of the lead at some way, shape, or form. It's his only chance he has. He's got to hope for a caution at this point. He needs one. So we're coming down to 16 to go. We're going to hit 15 when we hit the stripe. Everybody in the front six are already single file. Not for long. Here comes the number one of Hall. Dustin Hall to the outside. He leaves the 37 and Flugert out to dry on the bottom.
Up to the point goes car one. Hastings working with the back. And now it's a Conti 1-2 for now. 1-2-4, in fact, with DiCianni in the midst. Oh, look at how much momentum they built up with the speed they carry, too.
The back of the pack has lost the draft here. They lost a lot of momentum. 4 cars have pulled ahead. However, there was a car in the middle there that might be losing the draft a little bit as well. But the front 5 cars, correction. We got Dustin Hall, Brandon Hastings, Matt DiCianni, Adam Benefil, and Billy Brickley. And I'm rooting for Billy here. I mean, I have a feeling that this guy, he's got to be able to stay in the front. He's got to do it. He's got to make the field. Everybody else in the top 5 are locked in, but here comes that second pack with a big run. Look at that. That's Hunter Truel, who needs to get a caution.
The 67 is right behind them, by the way, in that battle for the lucky dog. Looks like Clapper Newell content with just riding at the moment, not forcing anything with the race leaders here. You have to wonder if Jeremy is going to have a paint scheme if he's going to be able to make the field. Normally, you don't see a primer car make the track unless you intentionally say, I like to just keep it like this.
Yeah, it's definitely an intentional decision. That's all I could say. My goodness. If that was, I don't understand the thinking behind it. I'm always like, hey, if I don't have a sponsor, I'm going to race anyway. I'm going to decorate the heck out of my car to be at least a little bit funny, add a little humor to it or something. But when it's just all white like that, I mean, it kind of feels like an eyesore, to be honest with you, when I look at this field. That could be a trading paint issue. It might be. I'm not sure. Because I can't even see the number on that car.
Apparently, that might be a tech issue. Apologies for that for Jeremy. But for now, the eggshell white car just content on riding for the time being.
Eggshell. That's a good way to call it. Yeah. Looks like an eggshell out there. Yeah, very good.
12 laps to go. All right, so Dustin Hall still maintains the race lead now. This pack still 11 cars deep for the leaders, about 13, 14 lappers in the field. So we'll see who makes a move, who's content in this regard. The open cars in this pack at the moment, once again include Hastings, once again includes Brickley, once again includes Fluger at the back of this grouping. You also have a couple others mixed in here, like Soziak, that are looking very good if things stay green.
You know, you got to feel for those drivers that are in that second pack. I'm still looking at it, and it's just like, you know, they might make it with the amount of open drivers that are currently in the top 15, but I don't know. I mean, they're in a wait and see moment right now. They gotta wait and see, and that we are coming down to get 10 to go. We need to see something happen. If you want to be able to start on the outside of the second row, you got to start making moves right now. This is your chance.
Stisiani, Fortis machine, continuing to do solid right now. At the moment, he's been up front this entire run so far. Can he maintain it for 10 more circuits? That's the question. Has had Team Conti affiliation over the years, was a Final Four contender in the 100% series in the 2023 season. He's also seen his iRating shoot up by more than 2,500 in the past year.
Well, right now, we want to look out to the outside line. Hutchinson just pulled in front of Bobby Anderson. I think that outside line is starting to gain a little bit of participation. Some drivers want to be a part of the pack now, so they are moving up to help. I don't know how long that will last, especially considering where they are, but we'll see what they're able to do with it. They need some momentum, and they're got to pushing now. They got to start pushing.
They're trying. Hutchinson machine has some good pushes coming from Anderson down the straightaways, just trying to line it up just right. Anderson's not getting close enough to stay maintained to be able to keep this line going.
I think the outside line's coming. I mean, it's got to run. It's very slow, but it is moving forward. It has moved forward about 1 car length since the lap started. So they still have a little bit of momentum on the outside line here. They come. They got to run so much so that more cars are joining on the outside here. They're gonna have a chance here. Bobby is pushing him for all he's got. They're up to 4th, up to 3rd, up to 2nd now. Okay, now we got a story. Here we go, outside line, 8 car, Ralph A. Hutchinson going for it.
Ralph Hutchinson trying to get to the point. Can he make the pass is the question. The RH Motorsports machine, know their teammates in this field, but he's been able to find friends at the right time, coming to 7 laps to go in Duel 2. More than 2 hours of action tonight in the FLCC. Coming to a stretch here with DeCiani now going for the block instead. He wants to go in front.
DeCiani made it a very aggressive block up to the top. I guarantee you that 8 car is not happy about it, but guess what? Now here comes Hall. He's trying to go to the top. He might not have enough room. Contact. He's got a little loose, and now he's in the sucker hole. Going all the way back is going to be Hall. He's going to lose that draft unless someone wants to help him, and it looks like only 1 car pulled down to try and give him a shot. They are 3 wide as they head back from 7th place on back. I don't know if that's going to break up this field anymore, but now DeCiani, Hutchinson, and Hastings, your top 3.
All trying to block the run. Hard to do in the corner. Normally we see a potential weight shift there. But up front, DeCiani, with the help of Hutchinson by a sizable margin, 6 laps to go.
I think I may have said his name at least 6 different times today. DeCiani, I'm going to stick with that. I think that's what it is. That's what we'll stick with. But he's doing a great job leading the outside line, but he's running the Dale Jr. line, which is kind of dangerous because at any point someone can make a move to the bottom as they all go to the bottom. They all went from the top to the bottom very quickly. And now, if you look closely, look at Brickley. He's up to 4th. He's up there with Bobby Anderson, who was in the back of this pack for the majority of the beginning of this race, but now he is up to 3rd.
5 laps to go with the stripe. More drivers trying the outside line for now. Some of the open cars just trying to see where the runs come. In fact, 3 open cars in a row, 4th through 6th at the moment. 4th through 7th, in fact, all lined up. The lap cars also starting to make some more progress. Here comes Pfluger. You see him at the edge of the top 5. In fact, the top 5.
The good news is that we're not going to run into, I don't believe we're going to run into any lap traffic here in the next 5 laps, but one thing I do want to note is because of these open cars on where they are in line, they're not going to want to move. They are happy with where they are. I mean, they are definitely in the top 8 of these open cars, so they aren't going to want to make any moves. I don't think that's going to be something we'll see. They might just ride for a little while, but I mean, I don't know about Hutchinson and these top 3 guys, though. I think these top 3 guys might want to actually put on a little bit of a show here at the end. I don't know if they're going to do it, but we'll see. We got 4 laps to go, heading through 1 and 2 right now, heading onto the back straightaway. And this pack, I mean, if you're a lap down, what can you do? There's nothing you can do right now, and unless you push somebody to the front, trying to be a teammate or a friend or something like that, and see if they can repay you later down the season. But there's not much as a driver you can do when you're stuck 32 seconds behind the leader. So I feel bad for all those guys outside of this top group here. As we're riding on board with Robert Anderson, looking at the back bumper of the 8 car.
3 to go. They are going to reach lap traffic, by the way. They have Reeves, they have Christopher Hill, they have Greg Newsom, who are about a couple corners up the road. Like we're going to catch him in the next lap.
Oh, I didn't see that. I thought they were fast enough to be able to hang out ahead of them, but it's not enough. Here comes the outside line now starting to develop. Look at that. We got a run coming on the outside, and we're coming up the lap traffic. This is going to be a little hairy. We'll see what they decide to do.
Kevin Soziak riding the wave. Good run built up with Hastings. Hastings moves him out of the way.
Luckily, he was able to find a hole on the bottom as quickly as he could. That's going to kill the momentum there on the bottom. But the outside line now is going to have a large amount of momentum as they come to the back bumper of Brickley here. I don't know what Brickley's going to decide to do. I mean, I'd be happy with where I am. But, I mean, at this point, it's his choice. Does he want to go up and try to win this thing or not?
Lap traffic within 10 car lengths. Lap traffic being coordinated to make a right decision with race control. Bobby Anderson makes the run. DeCiani goes for the block. Lap cars within 7 car lengths. Coming up to the white flag, this time by, it's been green all race long in duel number 2. Who's going to get to the checkered first is the question. Final time around from Daytona.
This is it. Here we go. DeCiani up in the front. He's got Bobby Anderson as they're coming up to these lap cars. I think that's going to be to his benefit, but Hill is running side by side as a lap car. This is probably not the right place to be doing that. Here comes DeCiani and Bobby down into, they're wrecking behind him. The 37 gets spun. He's on the apron of the racetrack trying to keep it straight. He's spinning out on the backstretch. They are still single file for the top spot. What's going to happen is we head down the back into turn number 3 for the final time. DeCiani, Bobby Anderson, Alex Benefiel, your top 3. What are they going to do?
Who's going to try and take the win? Does Anderson peel out? Yes, he does. DeCiani not able to block it. Here comes the bigger one from Benefiel. 3 wide as Benefiel gets it.
What a finish. 3 wide again. Oh, 2, not quite as close as the first duel, but this time we had Adam Benefiel win this thing by 2/100ths of a second this time. Not quite as close, but still an exciting finish. Matt Decani definitely is going to come back and finish, looks like 3rd. Man, what a race. Great race. Long race.
Adam Benefiel, the pole sitter for this race, and your outside front row driver for the FLCC 500. Backs up why he qualified so well. He races well on the final lap to get the win.
It was a smart move altogether. Look, Bobby just goes down to the bottom, but he has no drafting help. Benefiel wasn't going to go with him. He decides to take his own run, and both of them side drafting gave Benefiel the win. I mean, that's exactly what happened. Take a look. Teammates. Drafting teammates. That's what it was. So great job by Benefiel to be able to win that race, but very close for the owner of the series as well, Anderson, to get 2nd place.
Post race coverage coming up in just a moment. You're watching the FLCC from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway here on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the Full-Length Cup Challenge. More coverage here of the FLCC 500 Duels here on Maconi Entertainment. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results. Adam Benefield comes away with a win here tonight. Gets it done over Bobby Anderson and Matt DiCiani after a wild finish once more. Dustin Hall and Devin Medeiros, the top 5. Then it's Hutchinson, Brickley, Thompson, Hastings, Fluger, the top 10.
11th, Kevin Zosiak. Mesnard's finishing in 12th with Cameron Stone in 13th, Paul Hill in 14th, Alex Princeton in 15th, Ed Ryan gets 16th, Alex Murray 17th with Stephen Williams rounding out 18th. 19th will be Hunter Truell, and then finally 20th, Daniel Llewellyn.
21st spot goes to Christopher Hill, a lap down. Clapper Newell also a lap down, while Petrovic, Reeves, Newsom, Person, Best, Eden, Pearson, and Dotson, the way they're lined up very end for this one here tonight. Still looking to try and get the drivers all set up and ready to go, but we do have our first and third place drivers at the very least standing by. Adam Benefield gets the run at the very end. Adam, you dominated the first half or so of this race. You end up coming away with a checker flag at the very end. How are you feeling backing up that speed from qualifying with the dual win?
It felt pretty good. It was kind of a little I thought was out of it, honestly. Was trying to make sure that Hastings got in and just trying to work on different stuff for the big race. And unfortunately, we had everybody on our team in this race, but unfortunately Cam got held up and couldn't get up there to us. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like it worked out pretty well. We lined up, linked up pretty good, and they're coming down the back. I was going into 3, and I realized how far away I got from Dustin, so I kind of backed up to him a little bit to try to get off Bobby and kill their run, knowing that Bobby was going to probably try to pull out. And yeah, I realized that if I looked like I was far enough back, maybe Matt would try to squeeze Bobby and it would leave the top open. And Dustin kind of came and gave me a little air bubble push and was able to help me get the job done. So it's pretty cool. And we're, I think we got a really, really fast Team Conti Camaro.
Overall, what's now the approach going to be for you and the Conti guys, knowing you've got a lot of speed? Conti cars ran 1-2-3 at one point, 1-2-3-4 in some error cases here. What's that going to now be like for 500 miles next week?
I mean, I know that we got good pieces, so that's the biggest thing. We can check the box on that. 500 miles is it's a long way, man. A lot can happen, so it's just going to be about staying out of trouble, making sure that we make the right pit calls and there was no pit mistakes. I almost screwed it up for us tonight on that pit entry. I checked up way too early, and I did make Dustin and Hastings hit one another back there, but so that was on me. But gotta work on that, make sure we get that timed out a little bit better. But it's just staying out of trouble. I think every time I've run these races, man, I get wrecked, and if I get wrecked this year, I'm going to do it putting on a show. I'm not riding. I'm going to race. I'm going to work my butt off to stay up front. I think me and Chris Hill, we had a conversation after that duel the other night. Like, both of us agreed that, riding's no fun. We're here to put on a show, so that's what we plan on doing next week.
Once again, congratulations on the run here tonight, Adam.
Thank you.
Adam Benefield coming away with the win in Duel 2. Again, backing up the speed from quali. Matt DeCiani finished off in third. He's with Kirk.
Hey, Matt, congratulations getting a top 3 there. It looked like a great finish. What more did you need to be able to get him at the end?
I don't know, honestly. Just kind of saw the same thing in the first race with Derek. Being a leader is so hard to do, and it's like if I would have tried to block top, Adam probably would have split me middle, and it's just, I don't know, this new draft model's interesting, and you just got so much drag with no help, and yeah, pretty much as a sitting duck. I don't know, not being the leader probably would have been the best option there, but who knows? Just figured try it and see what happens.
But still, you got a great finish today. That means you're going to be starting really great in the FLCC 500. What would you say is something you learned in this race that you didn't know prior that you're going to use in the 500?
Based on both duels, it seems like leader should have blocked the top coming to the start finish line. But that's about all I would say I learned. I mean, it's a lot of riding around. It seems like with this new package, unfortunately. So I don't know, just be smart and hang around there, I guess. And you're probably going to have to put yourself in position earlier now than before, because it seems like it's harder to come back through the field. But yeah, I don't know, maybe with the full field out there, it'll be a little different.
I hope so as well. Anyway, is there anyone that you'd like to thank? Anybody on your mind?
Yeah, just thank my teammates, Pat, Carl, Derek, my unofficial teammate. But yeah, thanks for you guys for calling the race, and thanks for Bobby for getting this all back together. And seems to be we're looking forward to a good season, it seems like.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming out, and great job finishing in third place. We are excited to see you in the FLCC 500, and best of luck to you and your team.
Thanks, guys.
You got it.
Matt DeCiani in the top 3 here tonight in this one. We have now also tracked down Bobby Anderson. Bobby Anderson coming away second here tonight. Bobby, what was it like from your perspective, that run to the finish?
It was fun. We kept getting some, I was sitting back in about, I don't know, probably 9th or 10th place on that inside line, and everybody was just kind of minding their own business, but we were checking up big time, and I just got really tired of the checkup. So moved outside, and thankfully Devin Medeiros went with me. Ralph came up, and we had a really good run there. So I was able to get myself to the front. But yeah, it was, this kind of talent in this league. It's always fun to be running up front with these guys.
I'll ask you this, since you're also part of the admin crew. What is the perspective on the preparations for what's expected to be a big season? The FLC 500, 45 cars going to be taking part next week.
Yeah, I won't say I'm excited. I'm optimistic. I was part of a really good league, 100% Cup Series. Shout out to Kevin Steele and Damaris Hickenbottom if they're listening. But they ran a great league, and I was fortunate enough to be able to inherit a really solid group of drivers, a really tight-knit group of guys. So very fortunate from that standpoint. And then we've just been able to recruit some really good talent. I hope a lot of people stick around. I hope a lot of people enjoy what we're doing here, what we're trying to put together. And I know I'll get the numbers here from Jeff, but I looked on the YouTube and saw like 70 or 80 people watching in. So that's really cool to see for a league that's kind of getting back on its feet. And just hope we can continue building something here with you guys commentating.
Well, once again, Bobby, congratulations on the run here. Any shout-outs you'd like to give here real quickly?
Just shout out to everybody that's come back. The feedback we got to bring this league back and to see kind of a core group of 30 guys just chomp at the bit to get back in this league was great. And then shout out to Jeff Maconi and you guys as well. You guys are such a joy to listen to. Justin, you got so much talent, and Kirk, you bring so much to the booth here. Really good duo here. So I'm excited for what we got this year.
Congratulations once again on the run of the race, and we'll see what happens next week.
Cheers, guys. Have a good week.
Bobby Anderson rounding out our post-race interviews. Like to thank both top threes tonight for taking time to speak with us during post-race coverages for the duels. Kirk, your final thoughts on tonight as 2 races, the field, still tabulating things in terms of those cars for the open side, but the field should be now locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to go back and look at all the pit stops too, because I saw multiple cars when they had their pit stops go through maybe more than 2 or 3 pit stalls. So I think that's something that they might look at before we could say anything about who's in and who's out. That's something that I'm thinking about right now, knowing that there is a chance that somebody who might have finished well that could get a penalty for something like that or whatever it may be. It could be something that will just be in the 500 or in this race. We're not sure, but that's what I'm thinking about right now. But in the end of the day, I am just absolutely, I would say, a little disappointed in this new package that we have. It doesn't have like the pack feeling anymore. It seems like that you have to have a group of cars to be able to be fast. So not like as in like a large group, but more like 2 or 3 guys pushing just the right amount. 4 cars or more now, it seems like is what you need to be able to get from the back to the front. And I'm a little worried for the next race, but I think that these guys are able to make adjustments to their setups that might possibly improve that or make their cars better in the draft to where they have a little bit more suction. I'm sure they'll find something in the next week, but that is it was a great first heat, great first duel. And the second race definitely was a big strategy event compared to the accidents that we had in the first one, but. Still, I'm looking forward to the FLCC 500 and to see what type of race we get, because at this point with 45 contenders, anything could happen, and I cannot wait to be there to call the action with you, Justin. We're going to have a great time.
We have a fun time. The next race, once again, February 15th, 500 miles, the full-length Cup Challenge 500. Be sure to tune in here on Maconi Entertainment. 8:30 is the scheduled start time for the racing action. But it's just about time to say goodbye here tonight for this evening's action. Thank you once again to those tuning in this evening. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Kirk Mills. Marty Sakawa was producing. Thanks to all our viewers for watching tonight's action. Hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.